First, I want to start off saying greetings and blessings to anybody who will and does tune in. My name is Richard Carr, and welcome to America Talk Live. You might know me from such videos as Keep Africa Passport Bros Free, but today I'm going to do a little freestyling here on my own channel. Someone recently asked me when I would do a live. Well, I've done thousands of them in my history on internet broadcasts, but today I thought I would actually take up the challenge. As I stream to you live from the beautiful city of Pattaya, Thailand, it's 7:15 a.m. here. And as the polls have closed and the election has ended and a new president has been selected, I'm sitting here in absolute shock. I cannot believe that America has chosen a blithering, buffoonish idiot. Again, the Donald is now your new commander-in-chief. How? WTF, America. How did that happen twice? How did it happen this time around? Everything that's been exposed about him, the fact that he is facing sentencing for 34 counts of fraud with 3 or 4 other pending cases hanging in the wings. How and why did America choose this man again? This idiot, this old man who by the time he ends his tenure in office will be older than Joe Biden was when he ended his, or when he ends his, because it's not done yet. What happened, America? WTF, America. Why? How? Here in a modern day and time could this possibly have happened? I'm shocked. I'm amazed. But quite honestly, I'm unaffected, at least as far as I believe, because I gave up on America when I moved abroad, as many black men have, who have become the nucleus of the Passport Bros movement. I understand, and I understood then why I did it. I just had enough. I just felt like there's nothing more to see, nothing more to say, no one else to vote for. So when I moved abroad, my thought was, I'm done with America. I wanted to leave the scene of the crime, as I like to say. Now, I've made some of my views and beliefs known on Keep Africa Passport Bro Free. Shout out to Zed and the Maroon Tiger, Chris. Shout out to BA and Nac Measy, folks like that who help support that channel. But I had been asked recently when I would do a live. I'd been searching my soul for what new can I say, because I've done thousands of lives. And they're on my old channels. If you go to America Talk Live LA, at America Talk Live LA, you'll see lots of my content, both with me speaking my truths and interviewing people and hosting and producing shows. So I didn't know what much I could say, and I've been struggling with the idea of creating some new content, and I'm still working on it. But today, my heart is broken and my mind is completely in a spin. I don't understand how it is possible that there were so many Americans who claim to be faithful, righteous people who actually thought or think that such an unrighteous man should be in charge of the nuclear codes, with all the vengeance that he has in his heart, with all of the anger and angst, all the negativity over the past 4 years and even before. How did America get so screwed up? Now, again, I don't have a dog in the fight. I live abroad and hope to continue to live abroad until my final days. But it does hurt me. It hurts me to my heart. And as I've watched other YouTube content creators and political pundits express their shock and disbelief, listening to TYT, Dr. Rashad, report the fact that 80% of Black Americans voted for Trump. Someone commented that it appears that no one really cares about Black concerns, ADOS, FBA concerns. Not once in the entire election campaigning did either one of the candidates ever speak about reparations, which is a topic that's still left on the table that no one seems to want to address because it's just so complicated and perhaps to some even ugly to bring up the past. It's the reason that no one wants to talk about critical race theory in school. And I think the biggest fault of critical race theory was the title or the name critical race theory when they should have called it all American history, meaning let's tell all the truth, the whole story. Well, getting back to reparations, either one of those candidates could have won just based on the idea, well, maybe not, based on the idea of reparations. Maybe that would have been a big no, a negative for their campaigns. But again, just to get back to the notion that Donald Trump, that glittering, fat, bloated idiot, sitting there after he was announced the predicted winner with that smirk on his face, knowing all the anger and vengeance and bitterness in his heart, the ignorance of American people to vote for a convicted felon who is facing sentencing 2 weeks or so from now, maybe 3 weeks from now. The idea that people think that this should be the face of America on a global stage. WTF, America. America, WTF. What happened, y'all? How did it get like this? Or how has it gotten like this? Because I'm not there. And so some people may discount my comments or commentary for that reason. I don't have a dog in the fight, but to me, I'm glad I did what I did. I'm glad I moved abroad. I'm glad I am no longer what I consider to be still living, as they say in the Matrix. Some say, as I say, some say the plantation, but I call it the scene of the crime. I'm so glad that I made this decision a year ago, going on a year and a half now. And as for me, I hope to never, ever come back to America. I pray to God that I'm able to lay my bones here in this sacred land where there's still a semblance of respect, decorum amongst the people, kindness, generosity. And I know I'm sounding very anti-American, but that's how I'm feeling this morning. The idea that I no longer have to live there, hopefully for the rest of what I've got left of my life, tells me that I made the right decision. America, WTF. How could you possibly think that America will be better with with a convicted felon in charge, the face of the ruler, the president of the free world? Are you seriously saying that giving Kamala Harris a shot would not have been better? I invite anybody to come up, and when I get a chance, I'm going to drop the stream link and see if someone wants to join me in this conversation. Not sure how long I'm going to go. Maybe if I can get some folks up, then I will definitely stay online, because I'd love to hear your opinions from America. Let me give a shout out to OB32, and I appreciate you, brother. And give me a second. I'll figure out how to drop my link, and maybe you'll join me. I need to know. I need to understand what has actually happened to America. What do you think is going to happen next? Even more importantly, what do you think is going to happen next with Donald Trump in charge? What do you think the future of America will be for the next 4 years? Mass deportation is what he's already claimed. Maybe he won't keep that promise. Withdrawing from the United Nations. Maybe he won't keep that promise, because we're pretty aware that he is a liar. Going after his political foes. Will that happen? Well, I'd suggest, America, that you better damn well hope it doesn't. You better damn well hope he doesn't keep his promises. Because if he does, no one is going to like it, except perhaps, dare I say, the racist who elected him back in office. Now, I'll go back to Dr. Rashard Ritchie from the TYT channel. He said some things that made me feel it really touched me, deep in my heart. And that is that if 80% of Black folks voted for Kamala, despite all of the madness and misinformation that was out there about brothers not supporting her, sisters not supporting her. But I believe, and if I'm not mistaken, it is reported that 80% of Black America voted for her. Well, then, if 80% of us voted for her, but Trump still got selected, then what does that say for our rights, our future as ADOS, FBA? What does that say about America in terms of its concerns about our interests, our needs, our values, our future? I just don't know. I really don't understand how it could have happened. Was Russia involved? Was China involved? Were the books cooked? I had even heard criticism from different podcasters that criticized Kamala before she gave her concession speech at Howard University, one of my favorite places, and HBCU. She gave her concession speech, and some people were criticizing her that she didn't do it sooner. I don't get it. But man, I'm so heartbroken. I'm far away. I don't have a dog in this fight, but I'm really, really heartbroken, and I feel bad for America at this time. Not sure what the future is for America. It looks pretty bleak. There have been times that I wanted to make the comment that I think video gaming, young men, Black and white, specifically Latinos perhaps, who are involved with gaming and love playing Grand Theft Auto, I believe that Americans who went in droves to watch The Purge repeatedly are looking forward to that. I believe that there is a deep level of hatred in America amongst Americans that can only be exercised through a level of mass violence or purge that since the movie was first introduced and the sequels that came after it, it's just got to be something that's deep in the heart of Americans, that they just want to take out their vengeance on their fellow Americans. You know, I was watching one of my favorite YouTube channels, shout out to Diary of a CEO, had on a very famous, doctor who talks about the problems with young men in America. The fact that they can't find love or financial opportunities, the fact that they're struggling so hard to get married, and the fact that there is a movement in our community, in America rather, where men are turning away from women, wanting to move abroad to find, pay for play interaction. And he spoke about the fact that, and this is prior to the election, that Donald Trump's efforts to change the abortion laws, and with the dissolution of Roe v. Wade, that gives women body autonomy, control over their own bodies. He talked about the fact that some of the people who would suffer the most would be Black women and impoverished women outside of the Black community included. He talked about the fact that if you live in a state where Roe v. Wade has been abolished and you have an unwanted pregnancy, that if you're young, Black, and poor, you're almost destined, you're doomed to be poor for the rest of your life. I found that incredibly provocative and disturbing, because I've seen it. I'm Black, I'm ADOS, I'm FBA. As I mentioned on other channels, I've certainly seen it in my community throughout my life. But now America has gone ahead and elected the very person who put in motion the abolishment of a law that had saved the lives of so many women when they were in peril of having a child to whom they might lose their life to. It's so complicated. It's really hard for me to kind of break it down, and I'm kind of treading in waters beyond my depth when it comes to women's bodily autonomy. But what is about to happen next for women in America, now that you've elected the Joker from Batman? Not even the Joker. If the Joker and Bane had a child, it would be Donald Trump. He has so much vengeance in his heart. He doesn't even have that much time left in his life, but he still has so much vengeance in his heart that he, I believe, is going to do his best to exact vengeance on all of his political foes. Now, I'm going to read some comments because I've only got comments from one person. Every other race voted with their pocketbooks instead of voting against racism. My opinion, shout out to OB32. High inflation and housing costs through the roof. I agree with you on women controlling their own body. OB, I'm going to speak to high inflation and housing costs. I believe that there has been an opportunity for corporate greed to overtake common sense in the American economy. That's my belief. Corporate greed has been allowed to run amok in America. When I see the prices of food in America compared to where I live in Thailand, it's just mind-boggling. I could not live there. If anybody wants to know why I moved to Thailand, I've mentioned it on Zed's show many times. Shout out to Zed and Chris, and thank you for having me up. But I can't afford to live there anymore, and I'm an African descendant of slavery. I'm a foundational Black American. I've been told long enough to believe that my foreparents built this country. I see documentaries and YouTube videos about how African slaves, the White House, and the economy of America was built off the back of slavery. And it hurts me that I can't live here anymore because I simply can't afford it. Maybe I didn't do enough in my life. Maybe I didn't invest in the right things. Maybe I should have bought a piece of property. I didn't do any of that. But the notion that I can't even live in the country that my foreparents built, that hurts. I miss cheesesteaks. I miss the food in America. I miss, well, those two things. I don't miss anything else. But the fact that it's just high inflation and housing cost is what drove people to vote for a convicted felon, an adjudicated sexual abuse, a sex offender. Let's just say that, an adjudicated sex offender, a felon facing other criminal counts. High inflation and housing costs. That's what drove this election, to the point that now, again, you've got the devil offspring of Bane and the Joker and the Penguin all in one character. America, WTF. I really don't get it. I guess time will tell. Perhaps Trump in the past 4 years has learned some lessons from life. Doesn't seem like it. Seems unlikely. Perhaps Trump in the past 4 years, and the fact that he's facing, a sentencing in a couple of weeks, will try harder, make a better effort to be a better person. Let's start with that. Step into the position of a real leader. Doubt that will happen. The fact that in a couple of years he's going to be 80 years old baffles me. The fact that young people didn't step up in greater numbers and actually vote for the future instead of the past. America, WTF. Seriously, what in the world happened yesterday? Now, I live in the future. Today is the 7th of November. I know it's just the 6th there. I know it's the sun is setting in the West Coast, and the evening is already on the East Coast, and whatever happens throughout the rest of the country. So I know it's getting dark there. But the notion that Donald Trump has become president again, to me, that seemed even darker. I don't know. I'm going to take a little break. I'm going to mute myself for a few minutes because I want to post a link. I'm relatively new to StreamYard. So if you'll give me a second, I'll be right back. Hold on. So I'm back, folks. Again, I'm still working on trying to figure out how to add the link. If you'll bear with me, I'll figure that out. But wanted to read some comments, and I appreciate y'all who have commented. Thank you for joining my live, and shout out to Zed who posted a comment. I'll go back to OB32. Zed from Keep Africa Passport Borough Free commented, "It is Latino men who voted for Trump." Absolutely unbelievable, quite frankly. Unbelievable to the extent that Trump has made the comments that he's made about Latinos, Latinx, Mexicans, the comedian Kill Tony, who went on stage and said, "Hey, Puerto Rico is a floating island of trash." Last I checked, Puerto Rico is still an American, I don't know, still a part of America. How they could vote against their own interests, all of the negative comments that Trump made about Mexicans and Venezuelans and Puerto Ricans, but it is what it is. And if that's what they did, then I guess you just got to accept it and move on. How it is that women voted for Trump to the extent that he is now your commander in chief, voting against their own interests, their own autonomy, their own decisions about their body. Again, this is something that I'm really seeking some answers to. But time will tell, for sure. And we definitely have some interesting days ahead leading up to January 6th or January 5th or 4th, when Trump takes the oath again. I'm curious to know whether Melania will be there, his wife. I'm curious to see if she'll stay with him through this next 4 years. You know, she said some interesting things behind the scenes about American culture and traditions, including, she said, "I don't give a F about Christmas." So let's see what Christmas looks like, Americans, come this 2024 December. Let's see what happens in January when Trump is inaugurated. Let's see how the country moves forward for the next 4 years. Hell, for that matter, let's see if he will even make it 4 years. You know, he's certainly got a lot of issues with his health, the way he eats, how he lives. I would love to see how that plays out in the future. I'm going to end this brief live session. Maybe I'll come back up a little later. I've got to do some research on some things I want to do moving forward with streaming live. And I just got to sit back and think about what America will become in the coming 4 years. I've got to sit back and wrap my head around the idea that there are that many Americans who are so disconnected with any sense of moral direction, belief in spirituality, belief in right and wrong, that many Americans would actually hire a man who is obviously in mental and spiritual decline, moral decline. I just got to wrap my head around this. But again, I don't got no pony in the race, no dog in the fight. And I pray that America will be a better place, perhaps not under Trump, but at least moving forward as Americans reflect on their decisions. And as these next 4 years play out, I hope you find some peace and prosperity in your hearts and in your minds. But again, America, WTF. Okay, that's it, y'all. Richard Carr signing off. Thanks to Zed and OB. If I can work out some things a little later this afternoon, perhaps towards later evening, I'll come back up. I want to start streaming more. I want to start creating more content. And it's with you guys, OB and Zed and Chris and BA the DA and Nat Measy, and shout outs to one of my new faves, Doe Dash, who's got me inspired to come back up and for whatever it's worth, to talk my talk and speak my piece. It's Richard Carr, America Talk Live LA, at America Talk Live LA on YouTube. $ America Talk Live is my Cash App if anybody feels generous. And until next time, talk back soon. Stay well. Stay tuned.